High in the Mexican highlands, about 30 miles northeast of modern-day Mexico City, lie the ruins of a city so vast and mysterious that even the mighty Aztecs, who stumbled upon it centuries after its fall, were in awe. They gave it the name Teotihuacan, the place where gods were born. Today, it's one of the most visited archaeological sites in the world, famous for its massive pyramids, wide avenues, and enigmatic murals. But despite decades of excavation, Teotihuacan remains one of history's greatest puzzles. Who built it? How did it rise to power? And why did it collapse, leaving behind only ruins and unanswered questions? The story of Teotihuacan begins around 400 BC, when small farming villages dotted the Valley of Mexico. Over time, some of these communities began to grow and merge, fueled by fertile soils, trade routes, and access to obsidian, a volcanic glass, prized for weapons and tools. By around 100 BC, something remarkable happened. One of those villages began transforming into a city unlike anything the world had seen before. Within just a few centuries, Teotihuacan exploded into one of the largest urban centers of the ancient world. At its height, around 450 AD, Teotihuacan sprawled across more than 20 square kilometers, larger than Imperial Rome at the time, and was home to perhaps 100,000 to 200,000 people. Its scale was unprecedented in the Americas. Imagine walking down the Avenue of the Dead, the city's grand central boulevard, stretching for nearly 2 miles and lined with pyramids, temples, and palatial complexes. On either side, neighborhoods of apartment compounds housed thousands of residents, artisans, priests, merchants, warriors. The sheer organization required to plan and sustain such a metropolis speaks to a level of statecraft and social engineering that still baffles historians. And at the heart of this city stood two colossal monuments, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. The Pyramid of the Sun, the largest structure at Teotihuacan, rises more than 200 feet high and was built atop a massive cave system. Scholars believe this cave may have been considered a sacred place of emergence, a portal to the underworld. The pyramid itself, constructed from millions of tons of stone and earth, would have required the coordinated labor of thousands. Yet no evidence of beasts of burden, wheels, or metal tools has ever been found at the site. It was all achieved with human hands, simple tools, and astonishing determination. The Pyramid of the Moon, slightly smaller but no less impressive, anchors the northern end of the Avenue of the Dead. It overlooks the surrounding mountains, perhaps deliberately aligned to echo their silhouette. Nearby, the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, also known as the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, dazzled with hundreds of stone carvings of serpent heads. Some thought to represent the rain god Tlaloc, others the feathered serpent deity Quetzalcoatl himself. Archaeologists have discovered mass graves beneath this temple, containing the remains of more than 200 sacrificial victims' warriors, bound and buried with weapons and ornaments. It's a chilling reminder that religion and violence were deeply intertwined in Teotihuacan's society. But beyond its monumental architecture, what made Teotihuacan so extraordinary was its cultural and economic reach. This wasn't just a city, it was an empire in all but name. Artifacts from Teotihuacan have been found across Mesoamerica, from the Maya cities of Guatemala to the Zapotec centers of Oaxaca. Murals in distant lands depict warriors dressed in Teotihuacano style, suggesting either conquest, colonization, or at the very least, powerful influence. The city seems to have operated less like a traditional empire and more like a hub of cultural domination, a beacon whose economic and religious power radiated outward, binding distant peoples into its orbit. Inside the city, life was equally complex. Unlike other ancient capitals dominated by palaces for kings, Teotihuacan seems to have been organized into neighborhoods, each with apartment-style compounds that housed extended families. These compounds were often decorated with colorful murals, jaguars, serpents, birds, and mysterious symbols. Teotihuacan may have been one of the first true multicultural cities in the world. And yet, for all its grandeur, Teotihuacan's social structure is one of its biggest mysteries. Unlike the Maya, who left behind extensive hieroglyphic inscriptions detailing their kings and dynasties, Teotihuacan left no clear written records. There are symbols, yes, but not a decipherable writing system. No names of rulers, no chronicles of wars or conquests. It's almost as if the identity of the leaders was deliberately erased, or perhaps power was more collective than we assume. Some scholars argue that Teotihuacan may have been ruled not by kings, but by councils of elites, a kind of oligarchy. If true, this would make it unique among ancient civilizations. Religion, however, clearly played a central role. The city was laid out with precise astronomical alignments. The Avenue of the Dead is oriented about 15 degrees east of north, possibly aligning with the setting of the Pleiades or significant solar events. The positioning of the pyramids may have mirrored sacred mountains or celestial bodies, turning the entire city into a cosmic map. Murals and artifacts reveal a pantheon of gods, rain gods, fire gods, fertility deities, and of course, the feathered serpent. Rituals involving blood sacrifice seem to have been common, reinforcing the city's power through awe and fear. Then there's the mystery of the cave beneath the Pyramid of the Sun. In 1970, archaeologists rediscovered the cave system, a massive man-made tunnel leading to a chamber directly under the pyramid. Some believe this cave symbolized the womb of the earth, the place where humanity emerged, making the pyramid a kind of artificial mountain, a sacred axis linking heaven, earth, and the underworld. More recently, high-tech surveys have revealed hidden tunnels beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, filled with offerings of jade, seashells, obsidian, and even mysterious pools of liquid mercury. Was this an attempt to recreate the underworld, with mercury rivers shimmering like water of the dead? No one knows for sure, but the symbolism is haunting. For centuries, Teotihuacan thrived. Its population boomed, its influence spread, and its monuments stood as testaments to human ambition. But by around 550 AD, cracks began to show. Archaeological evidence suggests widespread burning and destruction across the city. Palaces and temples were torched, statues smashed. Some scholars argue that this was the result of internal revolt, the common people rising against the elites who had demanded too much labor and sacrifice. Others point to external pressures, climate change, droughts, and the strain of feeding such a massive population. Trade routes may have shifted, cutting off vital resources. Whatever the cause, Teotihuacan's dominance crumbled. By 750 AD, the once great city was largely abandoned. Its monuments fell silent, its murals faded, and its name was forgotten. When the Aztecs arrived centuries later, they were stunned by the scale of the ruins. To them, Teotihuacan was the work of gods, not men. They wove myths around it, believing it was the place where the sun and moon were created. They adopted its symbols, its deities, even its pyramids, into their own cosmology. In a way, Teotihuacan lived on through Aztec religion and identity, long after its own people had vanished. And even today, Teotihuacan continues to fascinate and mystify. Excavations have revealed only a fraction of the city. Beneath the soil, countless buildings remain buried. LIDAR scans, a laser technology used to map landscapes, suggest that hidden complexes, tunnels, and perhaps even undiscovered pyramids lie waiting. Every year, archaeologists make new finds: murals preserved in brilliant reds and blues, caches of offerings, human remains that hint at rituals we barely understand. The unanswered questions linger. Who exactly were the rulers of Teotihuacan, and why did they leave no trace of their names? Was the city truly ruled by councils, or is there a lost archive of kings waiting to be uncovered? How did they move such massive stones and coordinate construction on a scale that rivaled ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia? What role did religion play in uniting such a diverse and sprawling population? And perhaps most haunting of all, why did they abandon it, leaving their city to become a ghost town in the heart of the valley? Teotihuacan reminds us that human history is full of gaps, silences, and enigmas. We like to think of history as a straight line, a steady progression from simple to complex, primitive to advanced. But places like this prove otherwise. They show us that ancient peoples were capable of astonishing feats we still struggle to explain. Standing atop the Pyramid of the Sun today, looking out across the Avenue of the Dead, you can almost feel the echoes of the past, the chants of priests, the footsteps of thousands climbing those stairs, the firelight flickering across painted walls. It's a place that still humbles us, still refuses to give up all its secrets. And maybe that's the real power of Teotihuacan, not just its stones or its size, but the way it challenges us. It whispers from the past, reminding us that our ancestors were dreamers, builders, and storytellers, far more sophisticated than we give them credit for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's greatest ancient mysteries, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.